He's trying to walk to the net. Comes in. He scores! An incredible goal! And Diary shoots the score! He shoots and scores! All right, welcome to Penn's Weekly Update with Scott and Ken, presented by Pittsburgh's DSEN. My name is Ken Craig. I'm a credentialed reporter with Pittsburgh's DSEN, covering the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm joined with our resident journalist, Scott Crowell, and we are here to talk all things Pittsburgh Penguins. Just a quick episode overview for today. We're going to talk West Coast trip wrap-up, current standings outlook. It's February 5th right now, so we're going to talk where we sit, what needs to be done in order to stay where we're at. Caleb Jones with a 20-game suspension. My man Igor Chinnikov, is he a massive steal, or is this just a small sample size? We're going to talk about the end of the 6-game win streak, as well as we're going to pick Scott's brain around the trade deadline and then possible Olympic break extension candidates. So it's going to be a fun show. But before we kick things off, just some quick housekeeping. First, our show is brought to you by Pittsburgh's DSEN. They are a 24/7 radio station and includes Pittsburgh sports talk and lifestyle programming. Check out the music lineup at pghdsen.com. Or if you're interested in receiving real-time updates on our player interviews, coaching press conferences, locker room interviews, go to the Pittsburgh's DSEN YouTube and check it out. And if you would like to support us, which we asked, please do. It's free, easy way to support what we're doing. It helps us, helps our families. Please go and subscribe, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on YouTube. Last, like I just mentioned, our show is on multiple platforms, so you can find Penn's Weekly Update on any Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to your podcast. Scott, let's get back to talking some Penguins hockey.
Let's do it. How we doing on this beautiful Thursday evening? It's game day as we're recording this.
It is game day. It is game day.
Last game for the break. So
yeah,
big game day coming up. Big game tonight against Buffalo.
It's a big game against Buffalo.
Carrying momentum is pretty important. So it's gonna suck just because they're gonna be missing some guys tonight. They're gonna be down no Raquel, no Lazat, and maybe no Achari. So unfortunately, my favorite player is heading back into the lineup tonight, which would be one Kevin Hayes.
Tell you what, he's good. I don't mind him if he's spot starting. And coming in to fill in spots. I'm just glad he's not on the every game lineup right now. I
Agreed.
I'm happy if he comes in for a game or two every couple times a month. But first off, to talk about that, not sure how the Raquel news will impact his Olympic availability. So we'll wait and see on that. It is a lower body injury. Ben Kindle will be moving into the top power play lineup to replace Rax. So just keep an eye out for who moves up to that first line as well to play with Sid and Rust.
That's going to be a big decision. I would have liked to have seen Chinnikov go on the first power play line. I think they're underutilizing his shot to the point where he has a wicked shot, and that power play needs a guy that needs to shoot the pucks. I love Kindy on that power play. Great decision, but Chinnikov could have been the right guy for that line, in my opinion.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't be surprised if we see Chinny move up to top power play line come here soon. Yeah. I mean, he's scoring. Like, he's way too valuable right now. And if you give him the puck, he can blast it from, whether it's high danger zone or mid danger zone, he's going to score. So,
100%.
But I think we see Mantha or Brazeau maybe step into that top line. Last home game, whenever Rust was out, they had Braz. Yeah, he started it. But if you noticed, him and Mantha switched midway through the game.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and so I think we may see something like that. Mantha has been another one that's been on a tear. I think he has 20
Man's got 20 goals.
20 goals. Yeah, he broke the 20 goal.
20 goal scorer.
Yep, that's huge, huge for him. It's the first. Yeah, there's only been a few 20 goal scorers in their first season with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So since 2005, 2006, Anthony Mantha, 20 goal scorer, Phil Kessel, Patrick Hornquist, Peter Sikora, miss him.
That's a big list, especially Peter Sikora. That's no feat. That's a
Yep.
big feat to beat. So
Um,
good on Mo.
th-
I'm calling him Mo from now on.
I like it. And then
That's what the boys seem to call him. So we're just gonna call him Mo from now on.
Evgeny Malkin, Jordan Stahl, and Sidney Crosby. Those are the 20 goal scorers in their first season with the Pittsburgh Penguins since 2005, 2006. Um,
That's nuts.
Anthony Mantha's in some good company there.
Yep, he's in some big. Well, and I think it only pushes the narrative of okay, you've got a big decision to make with Mo, and where do you go from him? Do you flip him for a prime asset, or do you get him locked up and he becomes an immediate future of this hockey team as they kind of push towards? Again, they're in a playoff spot, right? So they're gonna need a guy down the line that's gonna put that 20 goals towards the lineup. Now, again, Mantha hasn't seen the playoffs in almost 4 to 5 years. So it's been a
Yeah.
while since he's seen any sort of important hockey. So again, we don't know what he's actually going to contribute when push comes to shove, but that's a guy that you might want down the line if he can consistently put up 20 goals.
Yeah, and it's not like he's scoring when it's not important right now. It's I don't, it's not garbage time goals or anything like that. He's contributing in big moments and I think he's impacting the play when he's on the ice. So I would
100%.
I would 100% take that risk unless unless another team comes with something crazy, and I mean crazy,
Well, that's the other side of the coin. Is in the off season, you might want to get him locked up now because if you can't get him locked up now, someone might swoop in with enough money to convince him to go somewhere else, and that's a problem. That's a decision they have to make.
right?
Because I'm pretty sure the Olympic break officially starts tomorrow. I think
Hmm.
today's the last day. So essentially, all these guys are. I'll be honest. All these guys tonight, they're going to be playing like they want to just get on vacation. They want to go
Yeah,
tropical somewhere, and it kind of looked like it in that game against Ottawa. You could tell they were like, we just want to get to the break and
yeah.
get on it. Some
Um,
tropical beach.
and he is currently making 2.5 million next year, as you mentioned, a
Yep.
UFA. He's one of a few UFAs, including Malkin, Hayes, Achari, and Connor Dewar.
Ooh,
Are all UFAs next year that are offensive side. Sorry, offensive side. Um, Chinnikov is at RFA. On a defensive side, we have Clifton, Brett Kulak, and Ryan Shea. So, we got some big decisions to make. And I know,
agreed.
it's we may have skipped around a little bit on our agenda here, but I think just it's an important piece that
Mm.
people we need to be talking about. Um, and I think this time of the year is when we really need to start having the conversations, right? Because I think beginning of the year we thought, oh, these are all trade pieces. Anthony Mantha, especially, he's going to be a trade piece. But I mean, look at the names he's sitting with right now, right? We just
Well, I
mentioned
mean,
Phil Kessel, Patrick
that's just it.
Hornquist. These are big names that came into the Penguins and made a huge impact. And you know, Anthony Mantha is on that. He's one of our top goal scorers, and to move him, we'd be losing quite a bit of production. And I mean, think about it. Right now, when we get an injury, we have pieces we can move around. We don't need to be like that's not a spot that then is going to be weak.
Hmm.
And that's going to be key because this is an yes, we're getting younger, but we have some older pieces on this team. If we go into the playoffs, like our core four older guys are not going to be playing 100% of the playoff games.
No, they're going to be hurting, that's for sure. I'm sure playing 82 games and then getting into a first round matchup with, again, Could be the Islanders. Columbus is creeping up on them now. Washington, I mean, who knows? Even if they can maintain their positioning, one of those teams is a dangerous hockey team. So they got to be able to push when push comes to shove. They got to be able to bring their A game against a team like that. So I couldn't agree more.
So let's get back onto the agenda real quick.
Hmm.
The West Coast trips. Um, we'll touch on it just really quick. I know our last episode we recorded right in the middle of the West Coast trip. Just to wrap it up, we started out in Seattle. We won in Seattle 6-3. Then went to Calgary, won 4-1. Then went to Edmonton. Went to Edmonton,
Edmonton.
6-2. 6-2. And then our stop in Vancouver, we won 3-2. So we swept the West Coast trip. Rarely happens, and Penguins fans know this. That rarely happens. Uh, then we
Yep.
then we carry that streak home and beat Chicago 6-2, and then the Rangers 6-5,
Woo.
which that Ranger game, I'll say the last 9 to 10 minutes of that Ranger game, I think that scared me and was really
Yeah.
shaky play. They played a good five 5.2, I don't know, 5 games, 5.5 games solid, right? And then that 10 minutes of that game was just gross.
It was shocking. It looked like in the last 10 minutes they reverted back to that 8 game losing streak a little bit. The way they were sitting back and they were allowing them to forecheck and set up like that. I got some severe PTSD from that. And I got a little worried there, Ken. I found some of the goals Stu let in that game were pretty weak, but also it's hard to defend when you're getting cross crease passes thrown right in front of you.
Yeah,
And defense kind of looked like they just stopped playing entirely. And we know with this team, 4 and 5 goal leads are not safe,
no.
not by a wide shot from examples this year. So again, it's a full 60 is a full 60. So for me, yeah, I was a little scared there. They got me quaking a little bit. The Rangers got me quaking in my boots. And then I mean, it carried over, right? It carried into the Ottawa game where they looked flat. They looked like they just weren't interested. They looked like they had had a huge party and they had like a hangover and they were still getting over it.
So it's so funny because that was the conversation, right? Was after the game, even asking Coach Muse was, is this something that is going to carry over? How do you how do you stop that kind of momentum, right? That I don't want to say momentum, but like that negative kind of feeling coming out of that Ranger game. And yeah, they closed it out, but like they got beat, right? That was
They
some
got beat hard in the
sloppy,
third.
sloppy game. And then Monday was probably the worst I've seen them play. And I don't even want to say December, but that was probably the worst I've seen them play this year. I mean, like there
Yeah,
was
I agree.
Eric Carlson, who's had a phenomenal year. He was just out of sorts. There was passes going to nobody. There was breakouts weren't clean. I think there was a defensive zone pass backwards to the goalie, right? And
Yeah,
that was Sid
and there
actually
was
who did
also
that.
Sid had a turnover that led to a goal, and Gino also had a turnover in the middle of
Oh
the
yeah.
ice that led to a middle of a goal. So, yeah, I think that's one game they probably wish they'd have back. I think it's getting a bit ridiculous with the narrative of Linus Ullmark is now 8-0 against the Penguins, and he has like a 930 save percentage. I think that's something that has to be brought up because that's unusual.
It is unusual, and up until recently, like we were on a pretty good streak against them.
Yeah,
Like at home at least, we were on a pretty good streak, and then as of late, like we just haven't been able to beat them. And
at
it's
all, entirely.
and they match up really well. They pressured the puck. They the forecheck was, I mean, they were struggling to get the puck out of the zone and even break it out or in the defensive zone. Like it was not Penguin hockey. That was not the brand that we've been putting on the ice this year.
Oh yeah, that was some ugly product that was thrown on the ice there on Monday. Just top to bottom, everyone was just they were slow. They were 2 steps behind everyone. They were getting outworked, outskated, and you could see it in the way just the body language and their tone. And you could tell Muser was not pleased, especially throughout the game. You could see there was points where he looked like he was really upset, and as he should be. Um, there's controversy with that game. They stuck with it. There was the Giroux goal still has a lot of questions, especially since the game after that game, like the next night, a similar goal happened and it was taken away on our end. So,
Yep,
um,
yep.
I do have some questions for the NHL on that one, but again, like
Well,
like
and
that's a game that they still lost, right? And ultimately, you can't look back on it now. It's too late to. So,
head coach Dan Muse even said after the game he would challenge that 100 times out of 100, right?
oh yeah,
Because
well,
you have to challenge it. But the fact that they had EK in the box, right, the penalty up, and then said no, we're taking the penalty away to then give a goal. Like it was just a
I didn't even
mess.
know that I didn't even know you could do that.
You shouldn't be able to do it, right? Like
You shouldn't be able to. Yeah, that shouldn't be allowed in this league.
unless you're getting the call, like if you're getting the call correct, it's like all right, but that no. And
No,
Artie was furious after the game. He had some things to say. It was just an ugly. I mean, how is that not goalie interference to me? When you're
no,
literally running into the goalie, knocking net, like it's just it was a tough way to lose. But all in all, they didn't deserve to win that game. Period.
no.
The score,
The fact they were close to getting a point out of that game was impressive. I
yeah,
was impressed by that. But of course, yeah, the NHL had to go pull some shenanigans out of their book. So, yeah, that's
that
unfortunate.
the
But the fact they were
refing,
even in that game, like,
yeah, the refing
shocking.
in that game period was pretty gross to
Oh
begin
yeah.
with.
Well, let's not talk about the fact they had four more power plays than we did, and it only took till 9:08 of the third period to get their first power play. That's pretty ridiculous, especially
Yeah,
with a team with Brady Kachuk and a bunch of goons
yep,
that
absolutely.
follow with them.
Absolutely. So what are the standings right now? So I have them
Carolina's
right.
kind of pulling away a bit.
Yep, go ahead. So
I
Car
know Carolina. I say if you have it up right
yeah,
now, you should be able to just look at it there.
yeah, your camera fell by the way.
Ah,
There it is. Um
technical moments.
I got it right here. So Carolina's still leading the Metro Division with 76 points. Pittsburgh behind them at 68 points. Pittsburgh still sitting in second place, just a point ahead of the New York Islanders. So that
Oof.
overtime point that we got
Goes a long way.
goes a long way right now. Columbus right behind them in fourth place with 65 points. Washington Capitals sitting in fifth with 63. And then Philadelphia with 60 points, only 8 points behind second place.
Philly's
Uh,
a sneaky agent there. I don't know. They're kind of a wild card to me. They could do something. They could if they rip off some hockey games.
yeah. And then, as we talked about, Buffalo sitting in the wild card one spot right now, and we play them tonight. They're sitting at 70 points right now. What a year from
Eesh.
Buffalo.
Well,
Um,
yeah. What a surprising year. Boston, and Buffalo, both of them, man. Oh man, that's a
yeah, and
surprising. I wouldn't think that.
yeah, what they're Boston sitting in the wild card two spot with 69 points. So our division, from Carolina down to Philadelphia, I think it's all sitting, pretty
It's a
close.
gauntlet.
Yep, it's a gauntlet. New Jersey at 58 points and the Rangers at 50 points. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure what to say. I guess technically they could do it, but those are the two
The
teams that,
Rangers?
I mean, mathematically speaking,
Mm,
like no,
they're
I'm saying mathematically speaking, they technically still could, but those are the two teams that I'm like, there's no way they're doing it. Like
no,
they're not playing. They have no passion on the ice right now. They're not like driven for anything. I mean, they're both teams are just playing uh,
well,
poorly.
that's just
Like
it.
I'll say the
Well, that's just it.
nicest.
In the nicest way, Artemi Panarin signals that yeah, the Rangers are the waving the white flag.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I think that's clear, and the fact they took a smaller return, clear cut says they just want to get everyone off the team so they can retool it up.
Retool it up.
It sounds awful familiar, doesn't it? Not just 3 years prior when Kyle Dubas in his first ever presser said it's going to be a two-pronged effort. to bring this team back to contention status and go into a rebuild.
But I thought, and again, it was really nice to see Mike Sullivan at
Mhm.
the 2016 or 2016 Stanley Cup champion 10-year anniversary celebration and ceremony at the PPG Paints Arena. It was really great to see him there and involved. Um, but he didn't want to rebuild, right? Or he didn't want to. I guess he didn't want to rebuild the way Kyle Dubas wanted to rebuild, right? And that's bringing in younger
Which was strip it
guys.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah, strip it down, bring down younger guys, and kind of just bring in a youth movement. I think Mike always has been a guy, he's the type of guy to kind of just bring in one or two youth guys and then fill it up with veterans to mentor them. Where if you like what we're doing right now is where if you can mix it 50-50 with youth and with veterans that are below 30 that have experience, it's a good match. And it's pretty evident that that strategy works in this day's NHL. And I
I
mean,
don't
it's clear
know.
cut evident.
Personally, I love the youth movement. That
I love it. Yeah.
like the 25 to 27-year-old kind of, have a year or
Mhm.
two under your belt, and I know they're hard to find, but
Yep,
um, we found one. We found
we
a
did.
25-year-old left winger who has a left-handed shot that, his snapshot reaches 99 miles per hour. Actually, I think it was 90 miles per hour is what I think his snapshot was recorded at the one. But Igor Chinnikov is
Chenikov.
probably one of the more head scratching moves
Yeah.
uh, that I've seen in quite some time. He left the Columbus Blue Jackets with such a negative kind of perception about him, right? People are like, "What are we doing? What he hasn't produced." They buried him on third, fourth line. No times was. I mean, he was playing under. I think it was under 10 minutes a night.
Yeah, he was averaging
Barely
very little
that.
ice time.
So then he comes to the Penguins, right? And so far he has 8 goals since January 1st.
More than
I'm
anyone on the team. If I'm not mistaken, he's first place in the category.
first first place in the category. He has 8 goals in 17 games with the Penguins
Hmm.
after scoring just 3 goals in 29 games with the Columbus Blue Jackets prior to the trade. Yeah, uh, since his debut, the Penguins have earned points in 13 of their 16 games, going 11-3-3. So that is, yeah, that's a big
That's
deal.
nuts. That's a
But
yeah.
but for him specifically, and I put this question out there on X the other day, was do we see him in black and gold next year?
Well, that's you should be. That's the hope. Ultimately, um, the more he scores, the more 100,000s that will go on to his next deal. So it's kind of like an incentive for him. The more goals he scores, the more money he's going to make in the off season. Which is why you might want to get him signed now, in my opinion. I've been a pretty big advocate of it. Sign Shinnikov during the Olympic break. That is your prime time to lock up a guy like that who's going to, yes, you paid premium price for him, but if you paid premium price for him, you better keep him around for more than just the rest of the season. So the hope is to get him rocking and rolling, past this season, in black and gold with Gino in his last year next year once they get Gino re-upped as well.
Absolutely. Projected cap space for the 26-27 season. As of right now, we're sitting at 51 million, or actually 51.9. So let's say
A
52
lot of money.
million. Um, you know, absolutely, I'm locking him up. He is um, a restricted free agent, so in that matter, so we get the chance to match any offer sheet that's out there for Chinny, but I don't see us, you know, I don't see him
No.
playing in a different jersey next year. The conversation has to be had because it could technically happen. But keep in mind the more he scores right now, and if a team makes him a ridiculous offer, um, that that draft pick that we get, or could be multiple, right? But that draft pick that we get, that compensation pick, could be pretty big as well.
Yeah, oh, and that's just it, right? Like I think ideally the worst things that happen are an offer sheet or going to arbitration because arbitration always can leave a sour taste in a player's mouth. And ideally that's probably the last thing they want to do. That's also what I'm kind of worried about might happen is they might go to arbitration if they can't reach the money properly. I'm hoping it doesn't come down to that because they have a bunch of other RFAs they need to sign and Sheloff, so they make that decision, and Dewar, who's an RFA as well. So again, there's a lot of decisions to be had, right? And ultimately, it's going to come down to can you get him locked up ASAP? I think that's the important part.
My gut feeling is that it's not going to go to arbitration. Like that.
No,
That's my gut feeling is that I think both sides will come to a agreement in due time, and I'm a big believer in what Dubas does. I believe he does right by the players, and
he does. Yep,
and he brought him here because he sees him being part of this team long term. So I'm a big believer in both parties here. I think that they'll get it done, and I think we see Chinnikov locked up for a few years.
agreed. Yeah, I'll say ideally getting him to a 3 or 4 bridge deal would be really important. I think ultimately you don't want to get him signed for too long to the point where you're kind of stuck with him if he goes down and tanks a little bit in his production. But ultimately, if you can sign him to a reasonable deal with a bridge term, I think that's perfect for where this team is right now. And then you can reevaluate at the end of that deal.
Looking back on the trade, are you happy with what we gave up? Because we gave up what? Dan Heinen,
Heinen a second
second,
next year, and this
hmm
year's third.
and this year's third. Are you happy with what we gave up?
I think the second at first I thought when we paid it, I thought was a bit pricey in my opinion. I thought it was too much to pay for a guy that it was a pilot project, right? You don't know what you're going to get out of the guy. Um, But now it kind of looks like a steal if he can continue to score, continue to rack up points, and continue to build chemistry as they approach March and into April. They're going to need him to show up. And if he doesn't live up to that, then that's going to be a problem. But I think the third, they've got tons of thirds and seconds. They got tons of seconds. They've been accumulating seconds for multiple years now, for the past 2 to 3 years. So I think it was worth it. It's a high risk and obviously high reward, and it's showing, that's for sure. As of right now, I've changed my mind about the disliking of the second round pick. I think it's perfect. And they were able to shed a high end salary as well, which is almost 2.2 million, which is nice to get him off the books as well, and bring in someone even younger than him.
Yeah, that. So just to clarify, so Dan Heinen, next year's second round pick, which was originally from St. Louis, and then
For
the
the Kevin Hayes.
right, and then the 2027 third round pick,
hmm
originally from Washington.
Washington, yeah.
Yeah, and that's I always think like, would we find this person in the second round at that draft spot,
Depending,
and then
depending, yeah,
how long does it take that person to get up and running, right?
100%.
So yes,
Wernicke's a prime example.
right, we could get a solid second round pick, um, but instead we get someone with a few years experience here, someone that has
100%.
been
And I
productive
have
in
it
the
on my
league.
screen. And I have it on my screen right now. They still have 2 second round picks for the next 3 years. Two this upcoming year, two the year after that, and two the year after that.
Right.
And then the third round picks, they had a third in 27. They had three in 27. Now they only have two this year, two the year after that, and two the year after that. So they still have a lot of picks in the mid
Yeah.
round.
Yeah.
Like there's no shortages of that. So
But
I think
this is exactly why you stockpile, right? For a deal
yeah,
like this. And I don't want to minimize that. Sure, those draft picks are important, but if you can come across a deal like this and maybe slightly overpay, right? Slightly overpay, um,
mm,
for the risk of making sure that you land somebody like this,
that's huge.
and then he comes through and works out, like, they're not all going to work out. I know that they're not all going to come in and score,
No,
10 goals in the first month or anything like that. But the fact that he did, and to clarify, he's only scored 8 goals, but the fact that he did, Which is massive. Shows that the modeling and the behind the scenes that Dubas and Wes Clark do for their pro scouting is top notch and top quality. So
Oh,
great on
100%.
them.
Oh,
Great on
100%.
them.
And ultimately, like I'm looking at the picks right now on my screen here, and they still got some high picks. Like I'm looking at it right now. They still got Winnipeg's second round pick, and Winnipeg's near
Huge.
the bottom of the NHL.
That
So
is
they could get a
huge.
very early second round pick this year.
And
And
wait,
again, same.
that correct me if I'm wrong here.
hmm
How many first round selections will there be next year?
So they have only one in each year for the next 4 years. So this
No,
year, the
no,
year
no.
after that, the
I'm
year after that.
talking, hold on. I asked that incorrectly. So, which is there a team next year that lost their first round pick?
When you mean like in the sense of,
I thought, I may be mistaken here, and if I am, I'm going to
I think
cut
it's
this
this year,
out.
by the way. It's Ottawa.
Is it Ottawa?
Ottawa had to forfeit their first rounder this year, this upcoming draft.
This upcoming draft, right?
Yes, in the 2026 entry draft.
Right. Okay. So there's only 31 selections.
31 selections
Right. So that second round pick
becomes essentially a late first,
comes late.
like into early second.
It's like, yeah, it may be really high second, but it even bumps up a little bit more because there's only 31 selections in that first round. So I'm glad I was right there. We can edit that out. I was definitely going to cut that
Yeah.
out if I was wrong. Um, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So yeah, that's to wrap that up. Igor Chinnikov, massive steal. We are very,
Big time.
very thankful that he is in black and gold right now. It's been fun watching him come alive alongside Evgeny Malkin. I think they are perfect working together. I think Malkin has been looking for him, maybe too much at times. But what he's able to do on that second line,
Huge.
huge. I
Just
mean, just
massive.
massive.
At a
Um,
2.1 million cap hit. Like
yeah,
that's and he just turned 25. Like he's in his mid 20s. Like it is exactly what Kyle is looking for. So he's got what he's looking for.
yep. And I think you lock him up, like you mentioned, like 3 years, right around
3 4
there.
years.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too long because I think the average peak is around 27 years old. Uh,
Yeah, that's when
he's right. I think he's technically on the younger side of 25 or 24, I believe. I think he may have just
I
turned
think so,
25.
yeah. He just turned 25 2 days ago, so he's
There we
fresh
go.
25 years old.
There we go. Yeah, I knew it was recent. Um, perfect. That lines up perfectly. Um,
Exactly.
so there's someone else that we got to talk about on the Pens team.
hmm
Someone who has maybe been trying really hard to get back on the ice. Someone who has missed how many games this year?
A lot of
Um,
games with that injury.
and is going to miss an additional 20 on top of that. So, Caleb Jones, what are your
Man,
thoughts, Scott?
well, with all that news stumps we got yesterday with the Panarin trade and the Panarin extension and everything was coming through my timeline there, and in the midst of all that, I see a statement from the NHL saying Caleb Jones got suspended 20 games for substance abuse, and I said, oh, that can't be right, and
That's
sure
not
enough,
right.
it was.
That's the wrong
And
person.
sure enough,
Yeah,
not 5 minutes later, did the Penguins release a statement saying, "Yep, Jones unfortunately didn't realize he was using a substance that was illegal against the NHLPA, the rule book." And I'm glad he admitted to it. I'm glad he coughed it up and didn't, keep it a secret or try to hide it from anyone. He was honest about it, so good on him. But again, yeah, no, you can't do that in this league. And ultimately, I think it might reflect him down the line when he gets into a new contract. He is under contract next year as well. So I don't know what that means when it comes to will he remain with the organization? Will he not? That's a totally different question. But again, that's up to the team itself. Once his suspension has been lifted.
yeah, he's locked up, like you said,
Nine
through
hundred
the end.
thousand.
Yeah, through the end of next season, 900,000. There'll be a UFA in 27, 28. Um, yeah, I mean, not much else to say. He's been out since October. Have only seen him in a few games. I mean, do we see him this year? Let's talk about that. I don't.
No. Let's be
Yeah,
realistic. No. No. I mean, Christ, we were asking a question of can we see Jackson Ivany again this year? And if so,
right.
he'll be back right near the end of the season, right? Like he's going to be out for a while. Like 8 weeks is 8 weeks, and that's already a detrimental loss with Ivany. So I don't think we see Jones again anytime soon.
Do
Probably next season.
because Latang's on IR right now, right? Is he okay? So he's on IR.
He's just on
Um,
regular IR, so no
yeah,
cap relief at all.
no. But Jack St. Ivany, he's on IR as well. So if we make any moves at the deadline, um, are you seeing a move for a defense or because
Well,
I don't want to
I
say
guess
we're
yeah. Let's talk
thin,
about
but yeah, I don't want to say we're thin. But one more guy goes down, and we might be
they're
thin.
in trouble.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't want to
Um.
hear anyone say, bring up someone like a Matt Dumba or something like that. I
No. 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 No.
because we're talking end of the
Um.
year. We're talking March is absolutely
Yeah.
brutal in terms of
Yeah.
the schedule. It's
Hmm.
compacted. We, 3, 4 games a week in March, and on top of that, we're playing some really tough teams. So experimenting right now, like no, we need to be
Certain.
rolling. We need to be hot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I've got it listed here. St. Ivany is listed as month to month, and Latang's listed as week to week.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's kind of on the docket there. As of right now,
Who? I'm
we're
sorry.
looking at
Who was month to month?
St. Ivany was is listed as month to month with the broken hand, which is the 8 week timeline. As of right now, they have 30.7 million available in cap space to spend. Um, they are projected to only have 11 million after the trade deadline. So I'm looking at Puckpedia right now. Puckpedia expects us to spend some money and use some assets to acquire some players. Um, I think realistically they're going to go get defensemen. That's probably going to be their main target come trade deadline time. I think you're going to find another right-handed defenseman is going to probably brought in. I will bring up the names. Probably Connor Murphy is definitely a target from Chicago. He just scored against us a couple nights ago. I'm also going to bring up Braden Schneider from New York. He's another guy that fits Kyle Dubas's timeline. He's 24, and he's stepped up for the Rangers in that one right side spot with Adam Fox out. There's a couple other guys, Timothy Liljegren from San Jose. If you want to land a big fish, Dougie Hamilton out of New Jersey. If you want to trade in division, if you really want to make a splash, that's a guy you go for. If you want to shore up a Letang, Carlson, and Dougie Hamilton right pairing, that would be pretty big. But again, that's a big fish that they probably won't go for. I don't think they're
No,
looking to
go
spend any first round capital.
go back to that first one. Connor Murphy.
Connor Murphy out of Chicago.
Yeah, he's someone that he did score against the Pens in that win. I believe he was kind of buried in that third or that kind of lower defensive line, right?
Yeah, that's kind of where they're at right now in the terms of their franchise. Murphy's 32, just for context. He is on the older side. I mean, he is making 4.4 million and has some trade protection on him. So again, he's got to waive that move clause. He's just a viable option, obviously. That like he's been thrown out there in trade talks. So again, I could see why Pittsburgh might be trying to take a look. But if we go to New York side, or if you want to go take a look at the Rangers, I actually wrote an article on this young man, in Braden Schneider, over in Madison Square Garden. He's
Mm-hmm.
24. He's a 6'4", 214-pound right-handed defenseman. He's currently taken over Adam Fox's spot. He fits Kyle Dubas' timeline. I mean, he's 24. He makes 2.2 million. He's an RFA at the end of this season. So if he plays well, if they acquire him and they play well, it makes a lot of sense to bring him back. And he could really be a guy of the future on that right side to shore up once Letang and Carlson kind of age their way out. I think it makes a lot of sense, and he's been to the playoffs. He was in that series with the Rangers in 2022 when they went to the conference finals. He's also, I think he's been to a World Junior Championship as well, if I'm not mistaken. There, he was part of the first Connor Bedard World Junior team back in 2020. Um, so he knows what it takes. He's a young man. He's still got a lot of time to bloom. Um, He's got 11 points this year. It just makes sense, and he's a good old Canadian boy, so it makes a lot of sense for Kyle to go and take a look at that guy. I think he should. It makes a lot of sense for his timeline. But if there's another guy I mentioned, Timothy Liljegren out of San Jose. Now, San Jose is in a position where they might want to buy, seeing as they're in a playoff spot. And he's kind of a crucial part of that part of their team. But he's 26, makes $3 million a year, and can really shore up that third pairing there with Shea. Again, I think any guy you compare with Shea's a pretty nice two-way defenseman there. So ideally,
Mhm.
whoever you acquire, you got to know he's working with Shea's or on that third line, their third pairing.
Someone like Schneider, right? Like that kind of fits the mold.
Hmm.
That young, because you
That's what
got
I
it
mean.
like
Yeah,
there's like a checkbox you can go down for all of Dubas's moves lately. And you think of Ilya
Solyov.
Solyov. I can
I call
never.
him
I still.
Solo.
Yeah,
We call him Sol. I think it's Solyov, but I call him
Solyov.
Solo.
Solyov.
Yeah.
So Ilya Solyov, same thing. Like younger guy, 24, 25 years old. Um,
Hmm.
he's 25 years old. 1 year left on his deal. Was making 775K. Right, like that's exactly what you're looking for. Someone who can bring. Um, he's a big body. Not to like
Yeah.
all those things aside, but someone that flexibility, someone that wants to come and improve themselves. Like that's exactly the type of moves that he's been making. So Schneider right now, even though he's proving himself, stepping in for Fox, um, making that move, if New York would move him in division, uh, I definitely could see that something like that happen because he has a lot of time under his belt too.
Well, that's just it, right? And I think it makes sense for both teams. Obviously, Schneider's a guy that I like. I will say he has been confirmed in talks. Ellie Friedman's one of the guys he's talked about that teams have been calling on his status and what it would take to get him. So I think they've made it known he's available. And I think in their note to their fans, I think they said almost everyone's available except Shesterkin and Miller. I think everyone else is kind of wide open, and maybe
Makes
Fox.
sense. Yeah,
But except for that, I think they're just looking to reset everything. And if they can they know they can get capital out of Schneider. And if Pittsburgh can't came a calling, um, Kyle came calling the Drury there. Might might have to overpay a little bit like Chinikov, but I think that the long term outlook, I think it would be perfect. It just makes sense.
it does. Yeah, and production wise, I mean, he's played in what 342 games, 20 goals, sorry, 60 assists with 80 points in his
Hmm.
career. Um, so a lot of game time, a lot of ice time he's had. That's something I always look for as well. Like,
Yeah.
not someone
Can he
that,
eat minutes?
yeah, can eat minutes, right? Like Shea, this is his first year really eating minutes like this. And it's impressive, right? But
It
having
really
someone,
is.
yeah, not everyone can step into that and just handle it right away. So someone that can do that as well. That's good. That's a good find. I know that conversation's been going on, but a few good names there. Dougie Hamilton would love to land someone like that to add to the.
That's a big fish. That's a big fish, but I don't think Kyle's looking for it. He's not looking for a fish like that because that's going to cost him at least a first round pick with the in division tax, and then you might have to pay a little more because it's in division. Like that's going to cost you. You're going to
Yeah,
have to fork out some dough. So
absolutely.
I don't think he's looking to do that. I think he's looking to buy small and buy conservatively to the point where it's not overkill. But I think he
Anybody?
acquired a defenseman.
Yeah, I agree. I would now in terms of the offensive side.
Yep.
I mean, do you see first? Here's a question: do you see them increasing or improving any lines by making any moves? Do you think anyone's on the kind of on the block at all right now? But and again, we didn't prepare for this kind of conversation since the beginning of the year. We've been preparing for sell. Now
So
it's
yeah.
yeah, now it's buy. Are we prepared to have that conversation? Or do you
Yeah,
think do
I
you think
think
we're kind of set? Maybe add one or two small pieces.
I think one or two small pieces is the most they'll see. But I'll just say this now: anyone that expects them to do more than one or two moves, I'm gonna burst your bubble and say it's not going to happen. If they are going to improve on forwards, it would be for Jason Robertson. But again, that's again a long shot. I'm sure they're going to have talks over the break. I'm sure him
Yeah,
and Dallas will talk. But again, that's a big fish. It's again just like Dougie. It's going to cost some dough. Yes, it will immediately improve the lineup, but you're going to have to cough up a Rickard Rakell or Brian Rust, a prospect, and maybe a first or more. So
or both.
or both.
In all reality, I
In all
don't see.
respects, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be, Raquel and one prospect. It's going to be, a few names, maybe a prospect, and uh, some draft capital as well.
I'm
I've been
curious on this.
I've been warm, like I was warm on the Robertson at first. The
Hmm.
more and more I sit back and think about it, like
That's an off-season thing.
to me, it's an off-season move. It's a summer move, right? I don't see it happening this year. Um, I would be shocked, and if it does happen this year, it's going to be something where like we're going to deplete part of our draft capital for a move like that.
You're going to see the first round capital go down a little bit. I think I find with that. I find, yeah, you could see both Rust and Raquel go in that situation. I think you are correct on that. I think ideally for their long-term playoff outlook, I think it makes sense for both parties. Um, the other question I have, aside from Robertson, is will they shop Kevin Hayes at the deadline? Will
Can
they
you shop
pay
Kevin
to get rid of
Hayes?
him? Can
Oh,
you pay?
okay, I
More
see
than
what you're saying.
likely,
Yeah,
can they pay to get rid of him
but
for a small price?
what does that help?
I think it helps the fact that it allows more young players to come up and hop into the lineup when someone's injured instead of having a veteran that has a negative impact whenever he comes into the lineup.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
he's a UFA after this year, though.
well, that's just it. Yeah, and he's already at retained money. Maybe you could retain some more
Yeah,
to get rid of him.
yeah,
Because it's not like it's going to cost you next year as well. It's only for the rest of this year. So, I mean, St. Louis is already eating half of his salary. If you can retain, let's say, 25% of his salary to eat it up to 20 to 75%, why wouldn't a team take him at like a one something million, like close to 2 million salary? Like if we're paying to get rid of him, I think it makes sense. But then again, he's a UFA at the end of the season. If you just hold on to him, he's just a warm body. Again, we already talked about Mantha and where it goes from that. Ideally, they're probably not going to move him. If they do, it would be because they know they might be able to get someone better. And except for that, I don't think they're going to do very much. I think the forward core is set. You don't want to mess with the mojo they have. And ideally, if you do mess with the mojo, it's got to be a big fish that they know will come in and instantly make an impact.
yeah. My biggest concern, not concern. Let me rephrase that. So my biggest what if this happens
Mm-hmm.
is needing to pick up some of the production on that top line. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
we're getting
it's a
production.
question.
We're getting production from Sid. Bust, absolutely. Is it as consistent as you would like? I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
Um, but Ricky Rax,
Yeah.
the fan side of me does not want to see him go, right? Because I am like I've been a fan of him, but the realist side and the reporting side, like you have to understand, like they're not seeing the production from him, and I know he missed a lot of time. I know he missed a lot of time. Um, but I don't know. Do you think that he is someone or a candidate to be moved this year? And
It's possible. It's possible. If they can get someone that can come in and instantly make an impact on the left side, then yeah, wouldn't see why not. I mean, for someone that's making $5 million, let's just say this: 10 goals and 14 assists is not going to.
that's yeah, yeah.
And he's eating pretty much like 17 minutes a game on the first line.
And
Like he's averaging around. He's
he's
averaging close
playing
to 3 minutes of
PK
power
and
play.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
PK power play, so he's playing a lot of time. Um,
yeah.
what was his assist
Like
again? Repeat that.
he's got 14 assists, so he's got
14. Okay.
24 points in 35 games. So he's
Yeah.
nowhere near a point a game player. But then again, like I'm looking at it right now. He's averaging 14 minutes of 5-on-5 time a game. He's averaging just under 3 minutes a game in the power play. He gets 39 seconds on the PK, and then again, most of his goals per 60 come on the power play than it does regular even strength. So
Yeah,
again,
he's someone that I could definitely see. He's loved, and I'll tell everybody this: like he is
mhm.
loved in the locker room. He is loved all around that building. He is viewed as a leader in that building. Um, I couldn't say more nice things about him. He's one of the nicer people I've ever talked to on the team. He all around incredible human being. And I think
Mhm.
he's a great player, but I feel like they're just not getting enough production out of him. Putting him back to a center, I don't think worked with him and Gino.
No,
Like when he centers the second
no.
line, I'm not a huge fan of that. Um, I don't know. I mean, he's 32 years old now.
And he's making $5 million.
Yeah, for the next, till what,
Where's the
28, 29 is a UFA.
yeah? Like you're making $5 million. We don't get $5 million production out of him right now. That's a very telling question. That's a big question that I think everyone's asking.
Yeah,
Where
so
is the
what?
Ricky Racks we all knew?
So he has a 8-team no trade clause, 32 years old, so he'll be locked up until what, 34? 34 years old?
35. It'll be 30. No, he'll be 35.
Yeah, depending
Because
on when his birthday is.
it'll be the summer of 28, and he'll have just probably turned 35. It'll be right in between 35 and 40. So that's kind of where you kind of look to move a guy like that. So no better time like the present if he continues this low production.
Yeah, so he'll be 33 this year because his birthday's in May.
Yep,
So,
in
got it.
May. Yeah, so again, that's another question, right? Can you get someone that can produce more on the first line? That will be more productive.
Yep,
So
and
I
I mean the big names, right? I mean, like you said, like a Robertson, someone like that. Yeah,
yep.
that would be
There's
ideal.
another guy I was thinking about. He's been a target for the Penguins for many years, dating back to Ronnie Hextall, when he almost acquired him in a deal. And he's going to be made available by a certain team in the Western Conference that's last place in the National Hockey League. From Vancouver, we're talking about Brock Besser. We talk about Brock Besser. Again, but let's remember that Ronnie Hextall had a deal back in place for Marcus Pettersson to acquire Brock Besser, and it fell through. Now Besser, like they've let it know that Besser's available for trade, and more than likely he's going to be the guy that gets moved. Now the other side of the coin is Besser is 28. He's in year one of a 7-year deal at
Yeah,
7.2,
yeah, that's massive.
and he's still injured right now. Now he's a name that's come to mind. Now another guy from Vancouver I was thinking about was Jakey DeBrusk. Jake DeBrusk out of Vancouver on the left
Mm-hmm.
side.
Yep.
He's a guy that they could really use, and he has the touch that makes sense for Crosby, and he's going to stick up for Sid if any stuff happens in front, and he makes sense for that first line, and he can play both the left and the right. He's a both wing pair. So there's so many guys out there. If they wanted to trade Rax and use it to acquire a better forward, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I'm
because I
all
mean,
for it,
if
Ken.
yeah, and I mean, like you said, Rax is what, 5 million a year.
5 million
Yeah,
even. Like
I can't
let's
believe I mean, we signed him to a 6-year, $30 million deal
That
when
was
we
in the
brought him
summer of
in.
like the Gino, the Tanger re-signing. They
Yep.
brought the entire core, but right after they got eliminated in Game 7, they said Rusty got re-signed too. They brought everyone back,
Hmm.
and they said
Yep.
let's do it.
Well, didn't we trade for Rax?
Yeah, they traded for Rax that year, and then they re-upped with him, and he got knocked out in Game 1, and then didn't come
Hmm.
back to Game 7.
Yep.
Um, Never forget that hit. That should have been a suspendable hit right there.
Yeah. But yeah, we signed. Sorry, I'm completely taking you off track here. But yeah, we signed Rax to a 6-year, $30 million deal. That was Ron Hextall's deal. But he's someone that I really like that came over in that administration. But Yeah, it might happen because with at $5 million cap hit, and I know the cap is going up, so we're going to have room, but using his cap to his cap hit at 5 million to make a move on someone like that, you're only taking on a two
Well, let's
million,
just say
three
you're not
million dollar hit.
like they cannot afford to get 10 goals out of a $5 million player. They need
No,
to get
no.
bring someone else, and that will produce more. And if you can do that while shedding some age on it, why not get younger at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, he's at 0.69, points per
Now,
game right now.
there's another guy that comes to mind. There's one more guy I wanted to bring up. Now, there's a lot of question marks around this team. They're the back-to-back defending Stanley Cup champions.
Speak
But
it.
does this guy
Let's
make
hear it.
sense? Mackie Samoskevich from Florida. Now, I'm getting the sense that if Florida continues to skid and they continue to fall in for more and more, which is what is happening, he's on the last year of his deal. He's in RFA. He's 23. Could he be a guy they just go and acquire and just say, listen, you guys have waved the white flag. If you're looking to move guys on a 1 year deal and you know you might not bring him back, like, let's talk. If I'm Kyle, I'd be doing that. I'd ring the phones for Mackey. He's got an unbelievable shot. He can go right in on the power play for Rax on that left side there in the one-timer spot. And he's a lethal guy. Like, he could score. And he scored in the playoffs when they needed him to. Now, obviously, he's not scoring as much this year. Florida is having the down year this year where
Yeah.
3 straight Stanley Cup finals are catching up to them. And, I mean, that happened to the Penguins in 2018. They look slower. They look like they still
Well,
have it, but not enough to go and win again.
they played a lot of hockey.
And you could tell they played a lot. I mean, and that's what just for Florida. Like, they played a lot of hockey over the last 3 years, and you could tell it's catching up to them. So again, Sam Miscavige was the guy I was thinking about, 23, and he fits the Kyle Dubas mold. I'm just calling it that from now on, the Kyle Dubas
Yeah, and
young and mode.
super flexible, plays wing, plays center, right? You can
Yeah, low cap
yeah, you
hit,
can
low cap hit.
yep,
So again, like
very low cap
you
hit.
can. So again, there's many young options out there where he might be able to swing something that we don't see coming, and that could very well happen. I more than likely he'll go on a D spending spree and just acquire some defensemen. But except for that, if he's going to do a forward, those are some guys I would think about: Samoskevich, Besser, DeBrusque, maybe Robertson. Again, like, there's so many names out there you can trade for.
Yeah, there are, and there's those names that meet that mold that we're not even talking about here. So,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
um,
Oh, there's
you
probably
know, I
so many
think
players we didn't even bring up.
yeah,
So
absolutely,
many
and
players.
you know, I, I just want people to know, like, it's not a lot of times it's not going to be that fancy name, right? Or that big name that people think
Hmm.
that, that's not that's I don't see that happening. I think this is going to be a like a few more of like what you just mentioned, Samoskevich, right? Like someone like that is where I like my maybe not him, but someone in that mold, right? Low
That
cap
mold,
hit,
yeah.
yeah, that because that's a perfect kind of phenotype that I was
Example.
thinking. Yep,
Yeah, like,
absolutely.
oh, and Shinnikov, like, at the 2.2 cap hit, like, it makes sense. He's 24 and now he's 25. Like, it made sense. Like, Sam Miscavige really fits the exact same mold, and he's on their fourth line. And I don't know if he's happy with that or not, where he could get ice time here. And if you can improve and move guys up and down the lineup, I mean, why the hell not?
Right, absolutely.
So,
I love it. Well, great. Yeah, that's some great insight there. Before we wrap up, because I know
mhm.
we're just at an hour right now. And we in our pre-production meeting, Scott and I even talked about how we wanted to keep this as we wanted to do a quick episode today. But here we are at an hour because once we start talking, it never ends. Um, but any possible Olympic break extensions that you
Yeah, I'm
see?
just gonna go over this quick.
Yeah, because I wanted
We talked
to
about
pick your
Gino.
brain. Yep.
I'm gonna think Gino would be priority number one, just to get that done and over with. You get it locked in for next year, so that he can focus on playing out the rest of this year without worrying about any contract details. I think ideally that's number one. Number two, we'll be looking at Mo Mantha. Mo Mantha
Hmm.
would be number two on my priority list, and then Chinnikov at number three. Ideally, if you can have talks with at least their camps, see where they're at money wise. Ideally, that's where I'd go first. And then if you can get one, if not two or three of those guys locked up over the Olympic break, that would be absolutely amazing. Um, a wild card for me that might get done would be Dewar. We could see
I was
Dewey
just
get
about to
locked
ask
up.
about. I was just about to ask you about Dewey. My other one, of course, is going to be Achari. Do you see? You think so? I mean, he's. I always forget he's 34 years old because he plays like a
Yeah.
26-year-old. But he's
Yep.
34 years old, right? I mean, do you lock him up to one more year? What do you do?
If they are committed to bringing him back, I'd only do a 1 year deal. The
Yeah,
other side of the coin is you got to ask: is there someone out there that plays exactly like him that fits that mold that's younger and faster?
that's it.
Right.
That's really the
That's the
question you
whole
have to
point.
ask. Yep.
Yeah. Like if
Uh,
you gotta look at the free agent pool and think, okay, if these guys don't get extended by them, can they be on the target list?
Absolutely.
Especially if they make the playoffs this year, Pittsburgh might become more enticing for players that want to come play for them.
I think they're, yeah. I mean, I think with the new coaching staff, I think one thing they've shown is that they have provided ice time to everyone on in the lineup. It's not like
Agreed.
they're playing their top six, and only activating the bottom during like power plays or PK, or I'm sorry, during PKs. It's not that kind of team. This is a team where if you're in the lineup, you're getting ice time. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is a good place for players to come play, especially those who are trying to get their steam back under them. Now on the defensive side, what do you think about Clifton? I mean, I think he's been playing better this past month.
Yeah,
I've been a big fan of him this past month. I don't know if we extend him. No, he's at a 3.3 million cap hit.
that's a lot of threes on my screen I'm seeing
Yeah,
right
you
now.
see that? I mean, it's literally all
It's a
threes.
lot of threes. It's $3.33333 million cap hit.
But he's he's 31 years old, UFA after this year. I mean, I don't see it happening. Um,
No,
you know
I
what I
don't
mean?
either. I think again, and that's again, you got to bring up Harrison Brunicky. I think if he's ready and he has an even better camp than he did this year, and he looks ready to go, that's his spot because he's going to slot underneath Carlson and Letang. So ideally, even like St. Ivan, he's in question as well. Like obviously he's locked up the year after, but again, who's that third spot going to belong to, right? So that's an off-season ordeal. I find they're going to take a look at that and really analyze it. Now, if they go and acquire a guy like, let's say, Braden Schneider, then you don't have to worry about it because
Right,
then you don't have to worry,
right.
right?
Yeah, I think I don't see Kulak or Clifton being moved unless
No, I'll be honest
like
with you. Except for that stiffer on against in the Islanders game, Kulak's looked pretty solid.
yeah,
That's a guy you
yes.
might want to keep her. You might want to keep around, despite the fact he's 32.
He's 32, but he's like that solid blue liner that like
Reminds me of Dumo. Reminds
yeah,
me of
like
Dumo a
just a
little bit when he came
solid.
in.
Yeah, like just solid
Yeah,
blue liner that like he's consistent, right? Like he might mess up once in a while, but he's not like I hate to say it, but he's not a Letang where like he's gonna screw up so bad that like he'll blow you a game, right? Like he'll mess
yeah.
up here and there, but otherwise he's a consistent blue liner. Um,
Well, it's like everyone's blaming him for the goal. It's like, yeah, I mean, should he be out there in that situation? No, but I mean, he doesn't know any better. He's not. He never was out there with Edmonton in their overtime, so he's never really deployed in an overtime situation like that. That's on the coach, not the player. The player can only do so much.
yeah, and overtime situation, it's just a totally different game. I mean, with it being three on
100%.
three, yeah, it's a totally different game. Too much ice. It is what it is. But
100%.
I'm focused five, or I'm focused on 5-on-5 or special teams,
Yeah,
right? I think it's been solid. Um,
he has.
yeah, well, I see one defensive contract on here that's still going to make me throw up every time I look at it, and that's
Is
Ryan
that a gravy
Graves.
train?
Yes.
Gravy train.
What happens with this damn contract? Do you think anything happens?
Do you look at buying him out in the offseason? I mean, let's go look at it. I'm looking at it right now. If you wanted to pay to get rid of him, it's gonna cost them till 2031. Um, Actually, technically, no. Technically, you're only paying him 4.5 million for 3 years to not play. Or no, sorry, buyout cap it. Oh no, yeah, no, they'd be paying him till 2031, and they'd be paying him 3.3 million in two
It's
years, and
not
then
it.
3.5. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
That's not
It's
even
not in
worth
the
it to pay
cards.
that. Yeah, no, that's not even
No.
worth it.
And then after that,
I,
it's 500,000 for like 4 years, and it's like even then they're just this year they're getting out of the Jack Johnson buyout at 916. This is the last year. Then they're free of any buyouts. Like I see on my screen right now, obviously Caleb Jones is suspended without pay, 900,000. So he's not making any money for 20 games.
there we go.
But
That
except for
helps a
that,
little bit. I mean, it's not
yeah.
like we have cap stress, right? It's not like we're Florida right
No,
now and
no.
we're over the cap or anything like that. Um,
Yeah, no, no.
like we have plenty of room, but I just this contract just drives me insane. Every single
It
time I
really
look
does.
at it, I'm like
It's
four and
so
a half
ugly
for
to look
Ryan
at.
Graves. Like, wow.
For him, for what, him to eat nachos in the press box every game? Like he must be getting, he must be fulled up on those nachos, man. Those nachos must be getting, the nacho shop must be getting a little warm there.
I know he's what played 19 games this year. Um, Jeez. All right. Well, maybe something will happen. Probably not. I
We'll
don't see
see.
anybody taking that
No.
on. That would be like a contract we would have taken on at the beginning of the year. Um, but I mean, he's 30 years old. I just don't see it happening. Awesome. Well, hey, the Pens are on a roll right now, and I know they're heading into Buffalo tonight. Some good news since December 27th, the Pittsburgh Penguins
Yep.
have 13 wins, which is fourth in the NHL. They have
Mm-hmm.
a .763 win percentage, which is second in the NHL. They've had 29 points since December 27th, which is third in
Whew.
the NHL. Goals for 77, third in the NHL. Goals against 46, third in the NHL. Goals against average 2.42, which is second in the NHL. Goal
Mm.
differential plus 31, first in the NHL. And since
Nah,
December
that's
27th, our PK has been keeping us alive is 90.4%, which is first in the NHL.
Oy. My God, the PK, I swear the PK never disappoints. I
No.
gotta say that. Knock on wood right now. I'm knocking on some wood, but my goodness, have the PK come through? I mean, in that Ottawa game, they held them to what, 0 and 5, if I'm not mistaken? They killed off
Yep,
all five of them.
I
They
believe
went, they
so.
killed off all five
Yeah,
power plays. Yeah.
I
Like,
have. Sorry, I have the document somewhere around here, but yeah, it's they kept him alive, and Artie Shelov's in that game. Played
yeah,
lights out in that game. I will give him props. Um, yeah, those two things kept that that score to what it was. Without our PK,
100%.
yeah, we would have it would have been ugly.
100%. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of score watching tonight. There's going to be a lot of questions tonight, obviously. The Islanders are in New Jersey tonight, so that's a game to watch. This is the one time you kind of want New Jersey to win, despite the fact
Hmm.
they are kind of climbing a bit. Um, Nashville's in Washington tonight, so again, that's another one we're going to be watching. And then obviously Carolina's rolling up to MSG tonight as well. So a couple games to watch tonight. I think we're at the point where standing watching is kind of become a thing again for us. We used to be looking at, oh, how far down are they, or are they in top five position? Now we're looking at who's behind us and who's trying to catch us. So
Yeah,
a
because
change in pace.
it's moving every day. I mean,
Yep.
between Islanders, Pens, and Washington, who am I forgetting in there?
Columbus won seven
Columbus as
straight games.
well.
Let's not forget that.
Yeah,
New coach Rick Bowness has got them rolling 9-1-0 in their last 10.
man, could you imagine if he had Chinny? Um,
Yeah, they'd be lethal.
anyway, keep an eye on the keep an eye on the standings. Things are moving. Otherwise, we are going to be back next week, even though it is
Yep.
the Olympic
Olympics.
break. We're going to be talking some other things, Pens related, maybe some awards as well on,
Mm.
how's it been up to this point. And then, maybe we'll talk some Olympic hockey.
Yeah, I'd love to talk some Olympic
right?
hockey. There's gonna be some controversy. There's gonna be, Mike Sullivan with Team USA and Sidney Crosby with Team Canada. We got some Ricky Racks and some Erik Karlsson over there at Sweden. Maybe we see Artie Shilovs get a start for Latvia.
Oh, he'll get a start
Who
for
knows?
Latvia. He will definitely get a
I would
start.
imagine. I would
Uh,
imagine Elvis won't eat all the starts over there. I'm sure they'll get Artie at least a game.
yeah, well, I
It'll
mean,
be nice to see him.
Artie's been getting ice time, right? And I mean, he's been pretty good. So, well, let's
They had him testing out Latvia equipment, so you never know. He could be the starter. I
he
don't think he
did.
will over Elvis, but
He was wearing them the other day in practice. So, awesome, man. Well, great episode. We will be back with you next week. Enjoy the last game until the Olympic break. And yeah, we'll talk to you next week.
He's trying to walk to the net. He scored! An incredible goal! And Irish took the score!